One. Alright, so I haven't really ever sat down for a YouTube video and just kind of like explained stuff or like, told you a story or whatever. And honestly, I'd like to do a lot more of storytelling or necessarily actually telling something that actually happened. Like, for example, what I'm about to share today is something that actually happened. And, it was a very long day, but yeah. So I guess I'll get into detail more or less about like what exactly happened. Um, but basically, I um I got stuck in a snowstorm in a sense. I say snowstorm because one, it really wasn't a storm. It like produced, I think that whole at the end of the whole day, it probably produced about maybe like 4 inches, if less than. Like, I didn't go out and measure it, so I wouldn't know. But essentially, uh, I was caught around Lancaster City at a Sheets. So basically, here's what happened. So I uh, I was going to take a job as a caregiver. It was something that came up, and the pay for actually that job and that exact company was pretty decent. Again, I'm not gonna expose the company or anything like that, but basically everything kind of felt rushed, as far as like, oh, you gotta do this and this, and it's all this in like 1 week. Like, granted, I get that, like, for like a job to start, you kind of wanted to like some quickness in it, but it was like almost an expectation that like there's not an interview face to face. There's a phone call with a quick like 4 or 5 question Q&A, and then basically all you do is you go get like drug tested and all that stuff. Get your criminal. Actually, I don't know if that was. Yeah, well, but basically, it came down to I had a week, less than a week. I actually had a day to get a lot of things done. So I had paperwork that needed to get done in a day. I had the test, like orientation was like 2 days away. It was all rushed because of whatever reason, I don't know, but it was rushed. And so essentially what happened was I was running out of time. So it was a Monday? Yeah, it was Monday. So it was Monday I think it might have been the first Monday in February actually, or something that I think it was like 2 weeks ago actually. But anyhow, it was a Monday. I remember that, and my goal was to get up to Lancaster Health Campus, which is on 2100 Harrisburg Pike, I believe. So that was my goal. I had to get there. However, I decided to take the city bus. So the city bus picks me up at the PA Health and Science College, literally right down the road from me. And so I went there at 9:10 a.m. and right as I boarded the bus, it started to snow. Now, usually when snow comes down Lancaster, it's not like quickly to lay on the roads or really quickly to lay anywhere. But the problem was it was cold enough, and it had already had like snowed like I think 2 days before. So like there was already somewhat snow still there, somewhat icy, whatever. So we had to be very careful of that. But um, basically as soon as I boarded the bus, snow came down. And so I go to the first stop, which the first stop is Queen Street Station. So go to Queen Street Station, and basically, um, I go from bus 20 to bus 1. Bus 1 then takes me the whole way to Park City, where from Park City it goes to another destination, And then from there, uh, bus 2 takes me to the campus. I went from Park City, got on bus 2, like I was supposed to, bus 2, and bus 2 takes me to a different bus stop, even though bus 2 is supposed to go to Harrisburg Pike. So I went to another bus stop that was nearby that would have been an 8-minute transportation over to the health campus. But yeah, so I end up going to that bus stop that was, still don't know if that's exactly what I was supposed to do, but anyhow, from there, they canceled my bus to the health campus because the snow had fallen crazy amount by that time. It was completely covering the roads. Roads were really bad, slushy, icy, like you name it. And so basically, I'm stuck at this bus stop. And I'm like, well, right now, I do not have a way to get home because I'd taken the city bus. Like, basically from my house the whole way to where I was then. And so I was freaking out because, like, it's snowing, roads are already bad, so there's not many people you can call. But I'm stuck. The worst part about it is I'm stuck at a bus stop. A bus stop that is not indoors, it is outside. And it's snowing and it's cold, and I'm wearing like 3 layers, but I'm still kind of cold, wearing gloves, still cold, whatever. So I was like looking for like nearest places to go and whatever just to get out of the snow, but the problem is that bus stop's like in the middle of like kind of central nowhere. So I decide to walk in the snow, and I go towards where the snow's coming in my face. I didn't have glasses on, I didn't have goggles, whatever. I didn't have a scarf, so basically all I had was my hat and basically a jacket and sweatshirt and then a shirt underneath that. And so I'm walking in the snow, and I end up finding a place, and I tracked it from, like, I was on my phone before, so I kind of tracked how far away it was. But essentially, from there, I walked about 3.1 miles is what it says, walking. 3.1 miles walking. So I basically ended up in the snow walking 3.1 miles. So by the time I get to a place that is somewhat like indoors and like warm or whatever, my pants are cold because the snow produces into like wetness. My shoes are completely wet because my shoes were in the snow and the slush and everything walking. My socks are wet. My toes are freezing. My ears are freezing. My face is like half like stuck because like the snow was coming in my face and everything, and it was just not a good day. And I managed to go to this furniture store, and I go in the furniture store, and I went to have my phone because when I was walking, I don't usually have my phone, especially if I'm on the road walking, because it's a distraction. Car somehow comes, whatever, you could get hit, whatever. So basically, I pull out my phone, and my phone is dead. Now, from the bus stop to this furniture store, my phone shouldn't be dead. At the bus stop, my phone was at 68% charged. And I did not use my phone walking that long. But what I've realized over the time is when my phone is out in very cold weather, my phone likes to die. Essentially die. Because cold and heat basically like not drain the battery, but it causes it to basically shut down so it doesn't freeze your battery or doesn't overheat your battery. So I get to this furniture store and my phone is dead. So I cannot make a call. I cannot find anyone to come pick me up, whatever. So this furniture store was like, I guess it was like somewhat fairly new or whatever. But I go to the guy in the back. There's a gentleman in the back, and I was like, "Hey, sir, like, can I borrow your phone? Like, I'm stuck here. I don't have a way home. I haven't been able to contact anyone. He's like, sure. And he kind of just gives me his phone. The guy that was there wasn't like too talkative and wasn't like, I don't know. I didn't like, not to bash him or anything. It just didn't seem like he was like a very outgoing person in a sense. But that could have just been me. Yeah. So I use his phone. I call my mom. I'm like, hey mom, like, hey, you don't happen to be in Lancaster area at all? As like, I'm stuck in this Lancaster city and I have no way out. And she's like, well, call your dad. So I texted my dad, because the gentleman had an iPhone charger, so he lent me that so I could charge my phone up, and I got it up to like 23% before I ended up leaving the store. But basically, it came down to my dad could pick me up, but it was gonna be like an hour and a half because he had a meeting or whatever. I tried my brother. My brother was at home, and he technically could have went and picked me up. However, his phone was off, and I think he was either sleeping or he was doing schoolwork, so he never actually got my calls or anything like that. So like, that wasn't really an option. I called like my aunt, my cousins. I called a friend. All of them, they wanted to help. They just couldn't get there because the car didn't have four-wheel drive, or it just wasn't really good for the snow, or where they were at, it was worse snow than where I was at. So like, I do appreciate everyone that was willing to give me a ride or try to come figure out how to give me a ride or whatever. You guys are great. Thank you for that. But essentially what happened was I was like an hour and a half. In my mind, an hour and a half is a long time. Even though in reality it's not. Especially when you're saying not doing anything. So I was like, alright, I'm walking. So I get out and I'm walking. And I'm just like, at that time, I'm trying to find like the most convenient like place to eat. I'm cold. I'm freezing. This furniture store is cold. It's not warm. So I'm trying to find something warm and something that could just, be able to give me some type of warmth or whatever. So I kind of Googled like the sheets. And it's 1.3 miles away from where I was. And I was like, oh boy, like, I didn't really want to go out in the snow. But again, my toes were all wet and whatever. So I really did not want to go out in the snow. But the only thing that was smart enough to do was go out in the snow in order to keep warm or whatever. And so I ended up walking to this sheets that's 1.3 miles away. And as I was crossing the one road, I was a very slippery patch right between the curb and then another grass area that I was walking in that was full of snow. And I tripped on the slipperiness on the road, went over the curb, and face planted in the snow. So by this time, I am freezing. Like, I'm just dying. Like, my hands are cringed up, and again, I'm wearing gloves, so my hands are like that. My toes are completely just gone. Like, my face is just frozen and whatnot. And like, when I was at the furniture store, when I was at the furniture store, I was like trying to figure out essentially like just ways to get out of there without friends. So like, I was seeing if Lyft, Uber, anything like that, and all of them were like shut down, probably because like I was in the middle of nowhere, and also because it was snow, so probably no one wants to volunteer their time to like go find people in the snow or whatever. So like, I was like seeing that all of a sudden all these charges were coming up on my card, and I was like, what the heck? Like, these charges shouldn't be here. And I was like really pissed off. I was like, crap. Like, all of a sudden I went from that card having a lot of money to like, okay, well, all of a sudden there's like almost like freaking $2 in my card, and I'm like, what the frick? Like, what's going on? Because like, that shouldn't be happening. And I just see that all of a sudden it's like taking out like 20 charges. I'm like, I ain't charged anything 20 times. And so I was like, I was pissed, like, So I get the sheets and I'm like, crap, like, I don't even know if I can get coffee or something, and ended up that I had my Sheets card with me, so like basically I ended up almost getting a free coffee. It was like $1.25 charge, like I had it there, so I was able to keep me warm. And then slowly but slowly, all these charges come off my card, and my money keeps coming back. And I'm like, thank God, like this is great. So I ended up getting something else to keep me warm because like coffee just didn't do anything, like still frozen. So by the time I was able to contact my brother and get a hold of him, and my brother's like, yeah, I'll come get you. Um, so I texted my dad. I was like, hey, Cohen's coming to pick me up and whatever. So my brother ended up coming and saving my butt. And then when I got home, I sat right next to the fire, literally right next to the fire. And then I came up to my room, and I was in my bed for the rest of the whole entire night with a space heater right beside my bed because I was freezing. And yeah. And then the next day I woke up and I was like half sick or whatever. And she was like, the woman was like, "Oh yeah, I rescheduled your test for tomorrow." And I was like I'm not feeling good. Like yesterday was crappy because like I didn't get there, and I was like, so then I ended up making a decision that I was not going to work doing caregiving, just because, um, yeah, it came down to other opportunities that came up. So like, just didn't feel like doing caregiving after that at this moment. But yeah. So that was basically my adventure. To start off a great month that I suppose was gonna be a great month, and yeah. But I just want to share that story with you guys because like, yeah, it sucks to be stuck in the middle of a snow time or whatever. But I really do thank anyone that volunteered to either come get me or was talking to me while I was stuck in Sheets, because I was literally uh, on the floor at Sheets because they didn't have a sitting area. So I was on the floor in this little hallway just sitting there on my phone, like hoping my phone didn't die because it got down to 16%. So yeah, but thank you all that actually was willing to help talk to me or whatever. Thank you to my family members who ended up coming and get me. And yeah, life lesson: don't get caught with snow in Lancaster City. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Reece Piper's YouTube channel. So yeah, thank you for watching.